As we all know, Javier Báez has struggled a lot during his time in Detroit. It's been talked to death about how his stats are terrible. I could talk about how his on-base percentage looks like a batting average, or how he continues to swing at nearly identical sliders every time at bat and whiff every single time, or how he had 19 errors this year and 26 errors last year, or how, for the first time ever in his career, he hit less than 10 home runs in over 100 games, or how the batting section of his Baseball Savant page looks terrible. But instead, I want to talk more about the mental side of why Javier Báez can't seem to play well. A lot of Tigers fans and baseball fans are guilty of piling a bunch of hate onto Javier Báez, talking about his contract and how he has declined so much. And Javy has definitely seen these comments. In his prime, Báez was one of the best defensive shortstops in all of baseball, with a great bat to match. But the other noticeable thing about Javy was his passion. He was one of the most entertaining players in Major League Baseball because of how passionate he was for the game. He had rivalries with individual players, he talked trash, and he celebrated hard. What most people don't realize is Javy is still that way today. These extreme highs mentally have possibly led to the now extreme lows Javy faces today. All of these struggles have built up in his head and now make his recent struggles even worse. Javier Báez himself has said that he thinks his struggles are more mental than physical. In his own words about his struggles, Javy said, "I think it's more mental than anything. The numbers aren't there, the confidence at the plate is not there. I don't really know what's happening." Now, it's one thing for me to come out here and say that I personally think that Javy is struggling because of mental issues. But Báez himself has confirmed it. He is obviously demoralized. And in a sport like baseball, where mental fortitude is one of the most important skills a player can have, and with a guy like Javy who relies so much on confidence and bravado, when you overthink and doubt your athletic abilities, it can ruin everything. And it clearly has for Javier Báez. Some people say that this is really all because Javy got paid his money and now has no motivation or incentive to play well. But I don't really buy into that. He always goes 100% balls to the wall on defense and on the base paths. Players don't lay out like that if they've lost motivation. I truly believe Javier Báez wants to live up to the expectations that have been set for him. And he wants to live up to them so bad that it has made him try to do too much and has led to him overthinking the game. Now, I'm not trying to stand on some moral high ground and act like I've never said anything bad about Javier Báez. Obviously, like a lot of other Tigers fans, I have said bad things about him. But something I've realized is that saying bad things about Javy only makes him worse. It makes me part of the problem. I own a Javier Báez jersey. He plays for the Detroit Tigers, and he does want to do well and win baseball games. There is no sense in hating on him. Is Javier Báez overpaid? As of right now, yeah. Is he underperforming? Yeah. But he still has the physical capabilities to at least somewhat return to form. Not saying he will return to his prime, but he can still be a guy you want to see in your lineup. He just needs to get past these mental roadblocks. If he works with different coaches this offseason and maybe even gets in contact with some sports therapists, that could really help him improve in the 2024 season. I really hope to see him go back to where he was. With such a promising start in Detroit in 2022 when he hit a walk-off home run in his first ever game with the Detroit Tigers, it looked like he would be a star for years to come. But right now, that walk-off homer against the White Sox looks like the high point of his Tigers career. A good Javier Báez would make the Tigers so much better. It increases the chances of winning the AL Central by a lot. And I'm not asking for anything crazy, just a 250 average, an OBP around 280, 70 RBIs, around 20 home runs, and swinging at just a few less sliders outside the zone. But that is only possible if we support Javier Báez as a fan base and he gets his mind right. Baseball is a game of failure, but it's also a game where learning from failure is very important. That's what Javier Báez needs to do. Don't focus on why you were once good, focus on why you are now struggling. The Detroit Tigers desperately need a guy like prime Javier Báez. Someone with flair, a fun personality, and a guy who knows that he is a star. If Javier Báez can become above average at baseball again, he can be that guy. I like Riley Green and I like Spencer Torkelson, but they just don't have the expressive personality that Javy does. Javy is a guy who wants to be in big moments. He craves big game situations. And that's what makes him special. Not a lot of players are like that. And to have a guy like that on your team, even if statistically overall he just looks kind of above average, that's still an important role for somebody to fill. If you can have a guy that can step up to the plate, bottom of the ninth, and you need a run to score and you've got a runner on second or third, he's the guy that you want to be there. And having that is really crucial to any team that wants to compete. And with the Tigers already spending a bunch of money on him, we're stuck with him. So we might as well try to turn him into a successful baseball player again. It's in the best interest for him and the Tigers. So I just don't see the sense of demoralizing him further. When someone's dealing with mental struggles as an athlete, you don't pile on more things for him to worry about. That's not how you get out of a slump. The way that you get out is by chipping away at the self-doubt and the overthinking little by little, game by game. So we need to all get behind Javier Báez and support him as a fan base so that he can get back to where he was. I get it, it's hard, he gets paid a lot of money, and his stats aren't where we want them to be, and the Tigers aren't winning like we want them to be. But if we are more supportive of Javier Báez, I think that gets us closer to where we want to be than if we were to hate on Javier Báez. But that's just my opinion. I'm Limitless Pulls. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
But you get the mix right, nigga, put it in the blender. Hell yeah, I'm Wingstop. Put on a chicken tender. It's like the beef with energy and water like Kimber. Hey, turning, looking like dinner. It's like I got the bag, boy or girl.